So I'm Byron Himmelheber. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I was raised in Indiana, southern Indiana, and I'm a professor of psychology at Jefferson Community and Technical College, and I'm openly secular. It's one of those developmental things, and I think that I was probably in my late teens. I had, like a lot of people, kind of the bad childhood thing where I had an alcoholic parent. And I remember that my family is pretty religious and went to church. My family split between Catholics and Protestants. My mother's side of the family is pretty much Protestant. And I think I was around 18 to 19 when it sort of dawned on me. It wasn't a flashing moment, but it was just a time when I had read the Bible cover to cover, and it wasn't like anybody sort of told me. It sort of dawned on me that the world was natural, that there was no such thing as supernaturalism, that it just didn't exist, and that the world was sort of a place where, you know, that gradually the scientific perspective has sort of began to explain things. And I think that's what happened. And my atheism, like most people's, I think, is not like, of course we can't prove there is no God, but I just lived my life as if it wasn't correct or wasn't true. And I think that what happened with me, like a lot of folks, is don't ask, don't tell. I wasn't open about it like I am at this point in my life. My mom, her religiosity changed. She was always a Christian, always believed in God, and died that way. But she became very cynical about organized religion and wanted to talk to me about that. You know, what's wrong with these people? She really believed it was kind of a con game toward the end of her life. And she told me, when I die, if anybody comes and wants to get up in a don't let any religious people speak at my funeral. She was like, you know, no ministers, no. And it was kind of a shocker because she died a believer, but I think she was one of those kind of free-thinking sort of Christians that you sometimes see. And so that was helpful so I could be more open with my mom. My father was an alcoholic, but he was kind of like, had become very cynical and very atheist, but not in any positive way. It didn't seem to help him become a better person. I think it was just, he went through a really rough time in World War II, and that's one of those myths that really pisses me off because, you know, war doesn't make people more religious. It makes people very cynical, and they have trouble believing anything, even in their fellow man after a while, and that's what happened to him. We're just people, and that's important to know that there's nothing that religiosity doesn't give some magic aura that you're just going to be a good person. And somehow we surround ourselves with that in Christian nations like the United States, and even more than even in Europe, which is still fairly Christian. But in the United States, we just have to drape ourselves in all that crap. And it's not only irritating in a personal sense, but philosophically, it's really offensive that you have to wrap yourself in all this religiosity, or you can't be a good person. You see that in the Gallup polls all the time, right? That, you know, people would rather anybody move in except an atheist. Gay people, welcome, you know. But I think we did beat serial killers in the last Gallup poll. So